So we are back, guys. We're going to be moving into our next round. Can we get a confirmation on the team name?
Oh, right. So this game is going to be between Hmmm and Lana.
Lana?
Every time their guardian goes down.
Lana!
Alright, actually, can we get,
keep building your focus. That's what you guys want to do before, like...
We're getting confirms.
Okay.
Okay, so that's...
Sure. Alright. Don't get first blood.
alright, so you guys at home on your streams, the right side is Hmmm, and the left side is Lana. For you guys here live, it's the opposite way around. So it's going to be Hmmm on the left side and Lana on the right side. So let's see what these guys have picked for their team compositions. We got for Hmmm, we have Sven, Roland, Imani, Margrave, and Vidasi. So that's actually really long range when you have both Roland and Imani, and especially the Imani. So Imani is the quintessential sniper character of the game. Can poke at long distances, but she needs to watch out close range because there is a Trip trying to put pressure on her, and we also see an HK trying to shoot at her as well. She's going to need some backup. Zenobia is here if anything goes wrong, and that's going to be a good defense.
So this is a lot more of a ranged and sneaky team comp. They do not have any tanks on the side of Lana, so they're going to rely heavily on their Trip to be able to go in and back half, and on their sort of their aggressive firing squad to be able to bring people down. Actually, we're going to see Trip going on to this Zenobia. That's not a pretty good fight for her, especially since there is a creature there is going to get knocked up, stealth herself away. She's going to have to get out of trouble because otherwise you don't want to give up really early kills, especially deep in the enemy team's base.
Yeah, and one of the earliest strategies we saw in the competitive sort of environment was backcapping. And backcapping is basically where the assassin goes into the back line and sees what he can kill, what he can pressure, or at the very least keep the creatures in combat.
Stealth play by Trip. Does manage to sneak away. Needs to get herself out of there, though. Uses the electric slide, gets out of trouble. Let's take a look at this Roland, who's been pretty much playing the poke war. Everybody on the side of Lana has been poking out the targets, and they're actually pretty high up. They've got a good perch, and they're really just relying on Trip to go in and maybe make an assassination play.
Yeah, and if we look at Imani, one of the big things we need to note about her is that she's got some upgrades that make her right-click, which is the scope mode, really powerful, but you really need
Trip gonna get this one. They will pick up the first kill, so Lana relying on their assassin to go in and make the play. Take a look at Roland. Roland was actually dealing with the Margrave from the enemy team. So the enemy team actually has some tanks. If they can line up and initiate, Ummm should be able to bring down what is a very squishy lineup on the side of Lana. And are they going to be able to get this kill on the Margrave? They do pick up the kill, so Lana doing a really good job. They've got their Trip in the back line. She's doing some backcapping and should be able to bring down the Cyclops without having too much more trouble. And some very good tactical rotations.
Yeah, and rotations, again, really good in this game. Your communication needs to be on point if you want to beat your opposition. And so far we're seeing 2 kills to 0 in favor of Lana, and they have half of a power bar full, whereas Hmmm only has a quarter of their power bar full. That name is going to trip me up for a while.
So this Trip, she's actually playing a very complex style of play. It's not just straight backcapping where you try and kill the enemy monsters. You're trying to keep people busy. You're trying to harass the enemy targets. If a monster is in combat, it does not generate power. So she's both attacking, looking for the kill, and drawing targets back to give her team chance to push up and basically take an uneven team fight. She's going to go back in onto this Zenobia, doing some pretty good damage. There isn't anybody there, and she uses her focus. That's huge damage. She may be able to finish off the job. That's going to be a good slow field by Zenobia, but it's not going to do anything. Now she is getting hit by the Uncle Sven, looks to get herself out of there, and it's just a really great assassin play. Assassins are more than just killers. They actually have to draw and try and force the enemy to react to them.
And yeah, as you saw, she killed Zenobia and pulled Sven back, so the rest of the map for Lana is going to be a 4v3, and Trip is going to be able to keep Sven distracted, and she's actually going for more creatures, and Sven's going to go towards the front line. Oh, nice kill over there. Unfortunately, for Trip, she got taken out by a Cerberus.
She needed one more dodge. She was doing a really good job of dodging, but taking out creatures on your own is actually fairly difficult. Even the baby creatures, the ones that look super cute and cuddly like that Cerberus, he will wreck you if you let him. If you stand still and think you can beat on a creature, be warned, because they will do a lot of damage, especially if an ally shows up. They will use a special skill. They have their own focus, their own ultimate ability, and it'll do a lot of damage and really wreck you if you're not particularly careful. But the side of Lana has grouped up again, but Ummm looking to get their tank in the front. They really want to get their Margrave on top of these squishy targets.
And it's also really hard as an Amani to play against a team that has a Vidasi, because your entire job is to poke.
In goes the Margrave, though. He's going to get on top of the Charnock. Charnock detonates himself up into the air to break the line of sight. And now another great knockup.
Ultimate.
That's going to be a lot of damage there. We're going to see whether or not the Charnock and Vidasi can make anything happen. Roland taking a lot of damage, trying to bring down the Zenobia. The Zenobia will be able to life drain through. Trip did manage to pick up a kill, looking for the Samani. Maybe she can find him. It's actually going to be the push coming in from the side of, oh, whoa, out comes a huge swarm from the HK. That's going to be the kill. We'll see whether or not Trip can bring down the Zenobia. She does get off the kick, and the Griffin is starting to rampage. Charnock goes in. They are going to get slowed down, so that's going to reduce their ability to catch the Zenobia. And now Zenobia trying to back up. Can't trick, and her nice snipe comes in from the Charnock.
Really, really great play over on both teams, actually, but a little bit over-aggressive when it comes to because they managed to take a lot of kills into their favor, and part of that was a really good Margrave ultimate that knocked everyone up. But they stayed a little bit too long, and as you said, the swarm from HK was able to do a lot of damage. And in the meantime, they're going to have to try to defend this wound, and it looks like Trip is already on it.
Yep, Trip is already there. The rest of the team should be backing her up. She's actually got a roll and shooting her in the back. Is she going to be able to get it? No. Looked like she almost stealthed herself out of there. So that is going to be about half a wound going over for the side of Team Lana, but they do have their rolling on top of the Zenobia, doing some good damage. In comes the Margrave. That's going to be a good stun. HK is there as well. HK looking to finish the job. He will bring down the Zenobia after chasing very, very deep, but he loses his Roland. Actually, no, Roland is alive. Very, very low. Was able to grapple himself out of there, but Charnock is going to get brought down. That's going to be the kill going over to the Amani. And now Trip is going to look to find some nice assassin play. We'll see whether or not this... actually, no, it's Vidasi. I actually thought Vidasi would already die. Vidasi with the HK. They're going to look to bring down the Margrave tag team. And in comes the Roland as well to back them up. They're going to try and bring down this monster. And it's actually a Cyclops, so this could take a while. They do have Trip backcapping again, so keeping constant pressure on the enemy monsters. Great play by Lana. They may actually be able to get the push again before the side of our...
Yeah, and if we take a look at the wound scores, there's almost an auto wound. That might even be an auto wound. But either way, all Lana has to do by the time that they get the next push is send one of their players over to try to take it out. Trip can easily do it, especially with the invisibility, and that'll help her get past the back line. Amani getting bursted down by Trip. Really good job by the assassin. She's going to have to stealth out of there by using the smoke bomb, and Trip actually has the entire team chasing after her.
Yeah, she's going to get burned down by the roll, and that suppressing fire does a lot of damage as well as the burning dot. She will actually cycle back around, so this is just amazing map movement by their Trip. I know we keep saying it. That's poor target. She does not want to go in there. Should look to rotate over onto the other side of the monsters, but her team is starting to push in. They're going to start grouping up and try and go into this choke point. Roland doing a lot of damage. Out comes a great ultimate by the Charnock. That's going to be huge for them, and now they're going to start pressuring, and they've got the HK. That's going to be a great mortar. He's getting burned out by the spend poison, and maybe he can get one more kill. The machine gun isn't enough. He's going to need to get over that side. He's going to do a little bit of damage there. That's going to be a stealth coming in from the Amani. He's going to get poisoned down. Can they pick up the kill? Him versus Uncle Spen. He's getting killed by the Vidasi. That's going to be an amazing play by the HK, and here comes the Trip using her focus. They pick up the kill onto the Roland, and now rotating in a little bit more power, and Lana will be able to get a secondary push and put the first wound down on Ummm.
And that is the power of Vidasi. We saw HK pushing that entire time. Vidasi was healing her the entire time, and one person can't get through that much heal. They just can't out-damage it. So really great play by the Vidasi, and that's almost sort of like the big medic heavy combo we saw a while ago.
Vidasi and HK trying to bring down this Margrave. Can the HK get the job done? He's got back up from the Roland, a little bit more damage, and they're going to be able to get this one. That's going to be enough power for the push. They aggressively stayed forward and kept their positioning up, and Trip, oh, she went in for the play, but Charnock, he's doing a lot of damage from on high, trying to bring down the spin. They did get one. Can they get another? It's a huge amount of burn and a lot of dots onto the spin. One more snipe shot. Can they get it? It's gonna go over to the Charnock. An amazing play there. He's landing those fireballs as if it were a sniper.
And a full team wipe as well. That's going to not only give them the push, but it's also going to make sure that these guys are spawning by the time they try to take the push. There goes the wound. It almost instantly goes down, but can Ummm clean up this fight? It looks like Charnock is taking a lot of damage from Sven. Sven manages to take the kill. Meanwhile, in the center of the fight, Imani is seeing what she can do against HK and Vidasi. Going for the boom bolts here. A lot of damage going out. One more auto attack is going to take him down. Let's see if she tries to scope in for the Vidasi kill. Vidasi using the super jump and might get away.
Yeah, they should be able to pull themselves out of there. There is a huge bit of power for the side of Ummm, so they could start turning things around. Oh, we've got a trip. She's stealth. She's actually waiting, looking for some better positioning on the target. She actually wants to bring down their creatures or go for this Imani. She's stealthed up, looking for the Imani. I don't know if she wants to pick this 2v1, but they're going to see her. She's going to go and gets the kick up onto the Zenobia, doing a lot of damage. There's actually not a lot of damage coming in from the Imani. She's going to be able to get herself out of there. Charnock now showing up to back her up. He's going to lay in a little bit of fire, slow down the enemy team, and everybody else is showing up for the side of Lana. They're going to look to at least get one target. In goes Charnock with that detonation. He's going to breathe fire right onto the top of Zenobia. They are going to pick up that one kill. That's going to start pulling the power gauge back, but Charnock now under a lot of trouble. He's going to get knocked up by the Margrave. Does get brought down. They do actually have their trip in the back line. She's still back having some amazing play there. Is going to start getting jumped down by the Uncle Sven. Trying to bring down this Cerberus. She needs to avoid a lot of this dot damage, and she's going to keep things in combat. Here's Roland and HK trying to bring down the Margrave. Will they be able to get the suppressing fire down? The enemy Roland doing a lot of damage to HK, and HK will go down for the side of Lana. That's going to be a huge play coming in from They need just a little bit more power to be able to get their next push.
Yeah, and Zenobia looks like he's going to be picking up a kill as well off the very back of that fight, and that's going to be Trip going down. And one of the big things you noticed about why won that fight back there was because Imani actually used her focus to try to target down Vidasi. And as we saw before, Vidasi was a really big playmaker, keeping everyone on her team healed, especially the HK, who was right in front, doing a ton of damage with the chain gun. And so taking Vidasi out of the fight with such great burst damage, such as the Imani focus, that is one of the big plays that helped them get back into the game and help them get this push. So at this point, they need to make sure that they don't die and they can make sure they prevent the enemy team from getting the shield.
That's going to be a good slow coming in from the Roland. HK dealing with this Margrave. Margrave is going to go down. He almost manages to pick up the HK. HK starting to get some healing. Vidasi's there to back them up. They need to be careful, though. They need to at least back up to be able to defend off the push. Trip still in the middle of the enemy team. Is she inside of the wall? I actually think she flashed up herself inside of the wall. That's going to be a huge ultimate coming out from the Charnock. He's going to try and lay in some fire. Maybe they can pick up a kill. Roland doing some good damage from afar. He's not getting CC'd by anybody, and they will pick up one. Can they get a second? They're generating a lot of power. Trip going in for the Imani. Needs one more auto attack. She will bring her down. No, she's actually stealthed out and interrupted. Assassin versus stealth sniper. Maybe the Trip can go in. She will pick up the kill. And that's going to be a huge amount of shield for the side of Team Lana, and they're not going to take that much damage to the wound. Is she going to get the roll? And she does pick him up. Double kill going over to this Trip before anybody can get away.
Yeah, and again, a full team wipe right before the push comes is really huge because there's no one left alive to try to put damage onto that wound. So it's still keeping the wound score at 1-0, and it looks like Lana is really far ahead in this game so far. If we look at the map control, it doesn't really spell sort of the same deal. So by all means, can actually get back into the game if they play these team fights really well. They're going to be met with a lot of opposition in the center of the map. Daze goes down onto Sven. Sven's at about half health, so is Margrave, but the poison ticks are damaging on Sven's right mouse button. Here goes, he throws another one, but he is in the middle of the fight right there. HK needs one more shot to take him out, and it looks like that's going to be it, and he's going to go down.
That's a huge team for the side of Lana, and they did that 4v5. They did not have Trip. Trip now looking to rotate onto at least one of the squishy targets who's still alive. She was bringing down one of the enemy creatures, but for the moment, that's going to be another push going over to the side of Lana. If they get this soon, there's no power for the side of They're going to lose that wound very, very quickly. Trip now doing a lot of damage to this creature. They're going to bring down this baby Cyclops. It shouldn't take them too much longer. And the passive power generation, because of their advantage in creature number, is going to allow them to get off a secondary push before the clash.
Yeah, and at this point, we see that a couple of members of are basically just grouping up and trying to deathball together because that's really the sort of big rotation plays that they need to make in order to get back into the game. They can no longer comfortably play the poke war, especially being behind so much in terms of experience. And again, Vidasi's just going to heal up any damage that Imani can do past her focus. but it looks like they might actually be able to catch out HK back in their back line. The bleeds go out. Sven is doing a lot of damage.
Shields coming in comes the backup from the Roland. He's going to lay in the suppressing fire. That's a huge amount of damage. The Nos is...
Fall back.
I'm backing.
Sorry, I just died there for a minute. The Margrave
I'm down. They got me.
is able to CC everybody. And that's going to be a huge play coming in from the side of
We just back off and wait for
Yep,
the-
and Vulcan is now
Guardian
on
to
the run.
attack.
Let's see what he can do. The poison ticks are burning. There goes the burn from Sven as well. He's doing quite a bit of damage there, but they need to watch out because in their backline, Trip is doing a lot of damage to their creatures. One more auto attack. Can Sven do it? The potions, there it goes. He's going to be able to take down Charnock, and now getting suppressed, fired by Roland here in the center of the map. And in the meantime, Roland versus Trip in the backside of the map. Neither of them able to kill each other, but Trip does take out a creature, and that brings it down to 0 creatures
Oh,
on
the
the
Trip
map.
is looking for this Amani. She may be able to bring her down. Does get up the kick. That's giving the stealth out. Uses the focus. She's gonna get brought down though. Great teamwork to collapse in onto the assassin. The push is starting for Team Lana. Is gonna need to start backing up. They've got about a half a power gauge, so it's gonna be close. The more shield you have, the less damage you will take from just the Guardian's initial hit and the rest of the team. Nobody seems to really be in position except for this Roland. Actually, HK, Roland, Vidasi, they are all following up, looking to group. And we're going to see whether or not Ummm can go in for the defense. In goes the Griffin. It's going to knock down the Naga. And let's see whether or not HK and Roland can go in and make anything happen. That's going to be a huge amount of AoE from this Vidasi. They will bring down the HK. Roland is going to get focused down. Maybe the Trip can manage to get in there and sneak past the enemy team. She's going to lightning dash over them. They do have the Charnock as well to do some damage. And the power gauge is actually pretty low, so we'll see whether or not they can make this happen. Roland comes in. They do pick up the kill. That's a nice interrupt with that focus from Roland, and Ummm will get the defense.
Yeah, really good defense right there, and as you can see, the health bar is just a couple auto attacks away. Oh, Charnock uses his focus as a last-ditch effort. Is he going to be able to take down Margrave? Margrave gets taken down really low, but does not quite die. And even if Sven is still there in order to be able to, I think he's running the cleanse build on the heal, which is something that's really good because against a team with a lot of burns and bleeds, anyone with Taito, someone like Charnock or Roland, they all apply some bleeds or burns. Those are things that you can cleanse with Sven's heal if you take the upgrade, and that can really go a long way in terms of saving someone's life. But it looks like
I've been going with
I'm just laying down some fire.
So has brought the map control back into their, not into their favor, but it's even right now, 3 creatures to 3. But they're going to have to watch out because Lana are now upgrading 2 of their back creatures as well.
I got you down.
Yep, they've got a huge amount of damage onto this Margrave. Maybe they can go in for this. They've got Trip in the back line, but Roland looking for one more kill. He's going to use that jump forward, and they do get off the summon, so that's going to be level 8. Do they bring down the Margrave? They almost have him. They have the slow. They have the bleed. Amani now in a lot of trouble. She's going to have to back up. HK looking for the follow-up. They do pick up one. Can they pick up another? They've got Trip in the back line. Actually, no. Trip is going to group up with the rest of the team and try and bring down this Bloomer. So they're all going to group up, bring down a monster, and they may be able to do this. They may be able to actually get the auto wound if they can get at least enough power for this second push. They've done a very good job of shutting down any plays coming in from
Yeah, and one of the big deals we see here is that don't really have an assassin player either, so there's nobody to take out the low health targets if any of them were to escape a fight, and there's also no one to put pressure on the Vidasi, who's been just healing the entire time. You know, if you have an assassin try to go and kill the Vidasi, then at the very least you're going to be able to distract her even if she has her ultimate.
Oh, huge damage coming from the HK from Team Lana. They've got a lot of healing from their Vidasi. They're grouping up into this choke point, which may be a little over-aggressive. Roland taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to back out. Sven doing good work there, but that's going to be the hook shot. Charnock now in a lot of trouble. He needs to detonate to get himself out of there. It's actually HK dealing with the Margrave. Margrave is going to go down. This could be the push turnaround for Team Lana. They're looking for the play. Roland goes in. They get a lot of damage there with that swarm. That's another kill pickup. Can Lana pick up one more kill before the power gauge goes over to the side of Team And in goes the Trip. Can she get the Amani? Looking for the kick. Gets one. Oh, Amani with a great juke jumps over her and isn't able to make anything happen. Roland taking a ton of damage. The Roland from the side of Team Lana needs one more hit. That's going to be the push, and they're going to get the auto wound off of this one. Huge advantage coming in for Team Lana.
And they just barely stole that push away from Team and that was a really, really good play by them, and a lot of good focus targets as well. You know, you call someone to die, and they die soon afterwards because the entire team is ready to collapse and fall on them. And one of the other big plays as well is basically when you send your assassin after Amani, it's sort of the same as when there's the Vidasi too. So basically, you need to put pressure on her, make sure that she can't just sit on a perch.
Margrave, why are you stepping up for this? This is going to be a 3v1. They've got the heals coming into the Vidasi. HK taking him 10
Oh,
damage.
the
He actually
huge
makes
ultimate!
it happen.
He gets it! He gets it, and that is a team wipe on the side of Hmmm. So they're going to be able to take this push in a convincing fashion unless Lana take out something really big.
Yeah, they did get the auto wound off of that last play. They're now down to 1 health bar. Trip and Charnock are actually still up. So Charnock is laying in some damage. Maybe he can make something happen here. If he can bring down this monster, that'll be great for them. He does get stunned out. That's going to be the dot coming in from Sven. And a great team play there by Team Hmmm to actually turn things around. Trip is the only one up. She's going to look for some damage harassment. Oh my god, she's got the sparkly hands. Do sparkly hands still show you?
I'm not sure, but we do see them trying to chase her out, and it looks like they're not even going to be able to find her either, so Trip gets out for free, which is something that you always want to be doing as an assassin. So one of the skills an assassin needs is basically escapability, because you can go into the backline all you want, you can stop their creatures from generating power, you can kill one of the creatures, but at the end of the day, if you die, you give up a ton of power to the enemy team, especially in Clash like we are right now. So that's something that they really need to consider, and good assassin players will almost always get out if they need to get out.
Yes, and when I was referring to Sparkling Hands, Trip actually has an upgrade where she does better damage after coming out of stealth, and it will actually reveal you if you re-stealth. So I wasn't sure whether or not it still revealed you. But back to the team fight, we've got HK taking a ton of damage. He's actually willing to tank and eat a lot of hits just because he's got that Vidasi here. And the Vidasi HK combo, they've done a really good job of staying together, staying grouped, sometimes rotating in with the Roland, but there's never been a moment where Vidasi and HK haven't been grouping together and just constant sustained. For now, it is a little bit of a poke war. It looks like the push will go over to Hmmm unless they are able to go in for something. Trip looking to sneak around them. She's actually snuck into the enemy team's base, and now they're looking for a huge play. That's going to be the Swarm coming out, but HK does go down. Out comes the ultimate from Charnock. That's going to bring a lot of targets low. Vidasi continuing to heal him up. They're taking a lot of damage there. They've actually lost almost everybody. They still actually have 3 members. Trip is in the back line doing some damage. Charnock making some plays. We'll see whether or not he can get one more rock or fireball off to kill his Sven, but they will be able to get the wound. That's going to be the first wound going over the side of Hmmm, so now they're going to need to group up and defend, as they only will take one more push from the side of Team Lana to win the game.
And we talk about Sven being the only character with auto attacks, the left mouse button attack that can lob over walls, and that's really huge, especially when you saw right there, he was undercover the entire time. Oh, Charnock going to get taken down by Amani. Great sniping power there, but as I was saying, you can basically break line of sight with Sven, hide behind a rock, and lob over it to try to get the wound, and that's exactly what he did there. There weren't enough people who had the angle to shoot at him at that point, so it's a good play, and they were able to take the wound there, but they need to see whether they can come back into this game, because Trip has been in their backline this entire time. She just took out their last creature, so now it's up to to try to basically force plays. There are 2 creatures down, and the 2 creatures that Lana have are upgraded, so they're generating huge amounts of power every second. Does not do anything. They're falling farther behind.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really rough for them. They're going to need multiple team wipes. If the enemy team is pushing and you can get off a team wipe right before they get the push, it really won't matter. You cannot end the game just off of the auto wound. A player has to go in and finish the job. So for the moment, is going to need to group up, but we're going to see Trip go into this. Amani instantly bursts her down. That's huge damage out of stealth for Trip, and now she's going to look to rotate in and find another squishy target.
Yep, and it looks like they are going to be trying to find Charnock. Charnock goes down, but oh, a nice heal by Sven. Manages to keep her alive, and Zenobia makes it out after taking the kill onto Charnock. But again, they do have to be careful because the power bar is almost full for the side of Lana.
Throw that out there. Don't die.
All right, so it looks like Trip under a little bit of pressure. She's going to get zoned back out. The remaining members from Team Lana are looking to group up. They need just a little bit of power. They can go in for the wound here. Is this going to be the end of the game? They need just one bit more damage. They're going to go in. Roland's actually going to get knocked up by the Margrave. Margrave is doing the best he can to CC. They need somebody in their body block that as HK brings in the damage, and that's going to be the kill going over to Team Lana.
And Lana take the game. Really decisive win as well. That was something.
Lana!
That was just a really good game, and again, rotations were on point. They had the assassin. The trip player was super impactful during that game, always in the back line, taking out creatures, taking out Imani. She did exactly what she needed to do.
Yeah, teams are going to have to do a little bit of research on Team Lana, pay attention to their remaining games because that trip player had great map movement. That was really key for the trip. If you can, a lot of the time, it didn't matter that she killed almost every single one of their creatures, which she did. She drew Zenobia and Margrave continuously back, and that kept them off of the front lines.